Assalamu alaikum. In this lecture we are starting the basics of CSS. We will start by writing some basic CSS and understand what CSS do. For this, let's create a new file basiccss.html and start with this HTML5 and the title basic CSS. First we are creating heading h1 heading, then a paragraph lorem 200 means 200 different words. Let's go to the view and then select this toggle word wrap. It will wrap all of our text. Let's start with CSS. For the first tag is style, and we will start by applying some CSS to this body element. So the body, and start with a background color. The FFFF is white and the 60 means black, 6F means white. By hovering the mouse over the color code, it will open the palette. Choose a color from the palette. Reveal the file in Explorer and double click the file, and here is our file. Let's assign a font name, font family, let's check this, and here it is. The complete body has now this font. Let's change the height of line height, and there are various scales. And here it is 2 em. And the 1 em is by default, so 1.5. So we have this complete heading. Let's wrap it in a div. Now we have wrapped this heading and the passage in a div. Let's assign an ID and a class. ID container and class container. Let's apply some CSS to the container. If we use hash and then container, it means that we are targeting this ID. So the background color, choose a color, and here is the result. And if we use this dot, it means now we are targeting the class. We are writing CSS for this class, and if we use hash, it means that we are writing CSS for the ID. The benefit of using class is that we can assign this class to any tag, but the ID, each tag can have only one ID. It means that a page, all tags have unique IDs. We cannot assign one ID to any other element. We are applying CSS to this ID container. Let's add a border here, 2 pixels, and the color of the border and the type of the line. So I'm giving the solid line. Let's change the border color, and here is our border. Let's add some padding to our container, and now the text has some padding. Change this to 20 pixels. Now it's looking beautiful. And if we want to apply CSS to this heading, we will use like this, the container and h1. It means that the container having the heading h1. Let's add some font family. If we want to apply some CSS to our text, we will always use span. Span and the class, let's give this class name highlight. Let's write this class CSS highlight and a background color yellow, and here it is. Let's comment this padding. Simple padding means that all of the 4 sides, means top, right, bottom and left. But if you want to give padding to a specific side, then we will use padding left or padding right or padding top or padding bottom. We can also use padding like this for top 20 pixels, right 30 pixels, bottom 20 pixels and the left 30 pixels. This code is short and easy to read. And here you can see that. Let's add some margin 20 pixel, and here we don't have any margin right now. Now it has margin of 20 pixels. We can also use margin like we use padding. Let's give a width to this container 500 pixels. Now this container has a width of 500 pixels. And if we set margin to auto, then it will center our container. And if we want to say that the margin is top 20 pixels and rest of the margins auto, the margin from top is 20 pixels and then right, bottom and left is auto. Let's add another div here. And a class. Let's give it a name called 1. And let's duplicate this and change this call 1 to call 2. Now we have 2 calls. Refresh this, and here it is, heading and heading. Let's change this heading to another heading and write some CSS for call1 dot call1 and set float to left. The float CSS property places an element on the left or right side of its container, allowing text and inline elements to wrap around it. And if we change our width to 90%, then this will acquire the 90% width. Let's delete some of the words from our second paragraph. And here you can see that the border is according to the second paragraph. Now let's add Overflow Hidden. The overflow property specifies what should happen if content overflows an element's box. This property specifies whether to clip content or to add scroll bars when an element's content is too big to fit in a specified area. The overflow property only works for block elements with a specified height. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and if you have any question then leave it in comments section. See you in the next lecture. Take care. Bye bye.